Naturopathic Dr. Samia McCully here. Today, I'm almost at the end of this series. I'm going to talk about number 8, cause for non-physical reasons for fatigue, which all of these fall under the umbrella of emotional fatigue. It's even more invisible than mold, which is, I say, the stealth cause of fatigue is mold. The super invisible cause of fatigue is emotional fatigue. And there are so many reasons for emotional fatigue. And so because they can be broken down into so many different pieces, it can be really hard to identify if that's one of the reasons for your fatigue. And fatigue is often multi-layered. It's hardly ever just one thing. So maybe you fix the anemia that you have, but you still feel tired. Maybe there's another reason for it and you need to search what that is. So today, this is very similar to the toxic relationship fatigue. This is emotional management fatigue. And yesterday I mentioned a woman named Lindsay C. Gibson, who's a psychologist who's written a series of books and has been interviewed on different podcasts about emotional immaturity. If you have someone, this is sort of similar along the same lines. I've been really interested in relationships lately, relationships with kids, relationships with parents, relationships with spouses, and all of this can fall into friend relationships. But I feel like if you have a really good grasp on how to have healthy relationships, these reasons for fatigue don't need to happen, and you can actually resolve these things fairly quickly. So one of the ways to identify if there's emotional management fatigue going on is if you find yourself changing your behavior to avoid an eruption in someone else. Here's a little example. One of my kids asks me for money to go downtown after school. If I'm too afraid to say no for fear of some meltdown or temper tantrum, I am managing I'm managing their emotions. And so I would call that emotional fatigue management syndrome. I just made something up. If you have people like this in your life, someone I think you should look into is Becky Kennedy. She is also a psychologist. She teaches people about parenting, and you can apply these things to all the relationships in your life. If you find that someone, and this is true for all of us, when we get angry, it's our inability to deal with the frustration we feel about something. So when you have to manage someone else's frustration because they can't, that's a kind of exhaustion that you need to learn how to address. And the podcast I will point you to is Becky Kennedy with Andrew Huberman. It's pretty long, but it's worth the listen. So, number 9, next time, last one, reason for non-physical fatigue or emotional fatigue. I'll tell you what it is next video. See you later.